One of the biggest problems I see in athletes trying to run faster is that they don't know the difference between acceleration mechanics and top end mechanics. Maybe they don't know the difference, maybe they don't know they're doing it, and maybe they don't know how to change it. But I'll see a lot of athletes running at top end mechanics the whole time, or other athletes thinking that they're supposed to accelerate the whole time and they can't transition from acceleration into top end and back down again. So in other videos, I've kind of talked a little bit more about programming and how to organize things and what goes into speed development. In this video, I'm going to teach you the difference between acceleration mechanics and top end mechanics. And I'm going to do it pretty simple so that you can understand what you should be feeling, what it's going to look like, and hopefully a little bit about how to apply this to yourself or people that you're working with. So let's jump into those differences right now. So the biggest difference between acceleration mechanics and top end mechanics is going to be your posture. When you are accelerating, your posture is going to be leaned forward a lot. So if this is my head and these are my feet, and I'm running that way, when you're accelerating, your whole body is leaning forward, pretty pronounced lean. You're going to be driving your feet backwards. And the motion that your feet go in, don't worry about this far leg, is your foot stays relatively low to the ground, comes up, and then drives backwards. So this kind of motion is acceleration, and this kind of motion is top end running. Now, some of the key points here is when you are in acceleration mechanics, your body needs to be a straight line. You're going to get your knees up pretty high in the air because you have to get it off the ground, and your foot should land behind your center of gravity. If your foot is landing in front of your center of gravity, you're putting the brakes on. Now your body's moving, so it's a little hard to judge exactly where your center of gravity is going to be, but it's going to be about the middle of your body, about your hips. So when your knee comes up and you drive it backwards, it should land behind your center of gravity so that you have the force going backwards, which is going to then send you forward. If you are braking at your hips, you're not going to be able to get your knee up. You'll probably put your foot out in front of you, and you're going to end up putting the brakes on and not being able to apply much force going backwards. Now, acceleration mechanics for most field sport athletes, having this pronounced of a lean, you're probably only going to get 3 to 6 steps like that before you gradually come upright. There is a transition where it's kind of a little bit of a mix between that piston action and more of the cyclical action, but this is more the top end running, what it's going to look like, at least with this leg. When you are running at top end, you should, your foot's going to come off the ground. It's not going to come way back behind you because you'll fall forward. And if your foot goes too far back, the only place it has to go is down. So you should stay upright. Your foot comes backwards. Your heel comes up towards your butt, maybe even higher than this because you're going to be going so fast. It's going to feel like you're casting your foot out in front of you, and at the last second, it comes down barely out in front of you and rips backwards to send you forward. Your foot's going to only land a couple of inches in front of your center of gravity, but because you're running so fast, that barely has time to even stay in front before it pushes off backwards. So again, leaning forward, driving backwards for acceleration, much more upright posture and more of a cyclical action, pawing backwards at top end. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea on how to solve the problem that I see of people not understanding the difference. And if you aren't really sure about that, if you live anywhere around the Novi, Michigan area, we would be happy to do an evaluation for you and teach you more of the differences. And if you don't, then drop a comment in here and just ask some questions. You might even post a video, send me a link, and I can take a look at it and give you a better idea of how you're running and what you need to change.